Okay, this is the engine bay of a 1966 real 138 code Super Sport car. That's the way this guy started life, with a big block Chevy in it and a 396. This particular one has the correct valve pan covers on it, just the way they came from the factory. The intake manifold says Hawley on it, and if you look, it has a correct line, dual line Hawley carburetor on this vehicle, and that's the way these cars came as a 360 horse in 1966, 66 only. It's an iron head motor. It has a fixed fan on it, four-blade fixed fan. It has an aluminum aftermarket radiator in it. It at least a 4-pass, high-volume, high-capacity radiator in it. The engine has the standard cast iron exhaust manifolds on it that does not have a set of headers. It hasn't been modified that way. It has a new alternator on it. It has power steering with the remote reservoir for the power steering unit. It does not have power brakes on it. It still actually has the original single-stage master cylinder that this car would have been released with in '66. The cowl tag, as you can see, is nice and legible and clean. Devin will show you some high-resolution photos of that. It's a complete fresh rebuild. You can see everything. The motor's been out on the vehicle, and everything has been freshened up and completely rebuilt. It does have the cast iron intake manifold, which I just mentioned. Has an HEI distributor in it. That's been updated. Conventional plug wires. They don't feel like they're high silicone, but they are a conventional wire. The heat is still hooked up and functional to the passenger compartment. Semi-flat black inner fender panels and cowl, just the way it would have been in '66 when this car was released. It has the conventional suspension on the front. This car has a lot of originality to it. 14-inch unsilenced air cleaner, the way it would have been with that particular engine in '66. Core support still has all its original pinch welds on it. It doesn't appear to have had any trauma whatsoever through the years. It does have an auxiliary cooling fan on the front of it here. It does have an electric fan hooked up on the front. The engine bay of this car shows as it would have for a correct 1966 396 SS car back in that era. This thing is just a great looking car, a great driving car. I did have the opportunity to drive it, so I know how it runs. The engine compartment, again, is just as fresh and clean as you'd ever hope to find, with, as indicated, just looking at it, a 360 horse 396. But Donnie will give you the specs on this engine. For what we can tell, it's an origin, and see if its numbers matching or anything associated with it in the spec sheet. So you have to always look at those spec sheets. It gives you the information that we don't have time to tell you. So we're going to go around the rest of it and show you the car. Hi, you're at Hanksters in Daytona Beach, Florida, and today we're going to present the 1966 138 code real SS Chevelle, 1966. The correct style hood with this vehicle. The paint is better than a driver quality paint job in this particular car. The fitment, as you can see, is just as sweet as you'd hope to find. Gaps to the fenders, to the hood, to the cowl area, just as spot on as you could hope to put them. Again, the paint on this car is a better than driver quality paint job. It has nice fitment to it. There's no fogginess whatsoever in the metallic paint on it. I think the color is Marina blue, but I could be wrong on that. There's so many colors of blue that I just remember one being marina blue in that era. SS style grille, blacked out the way it should be with the SS designation on the front. The chrome on the bumper is just spot on, cannot be any nicer. There's no marks or scuffs or anything on it from some idiot putting his foot up on it through the years, but just as nice a chrome and fitment as you'd hope to find on it. The parking lights in the front, nice and clear, amber. Of course, our Hangster's plate that goes with the car. And the trim and fitment, look at this. Everything just is as nice as it could be for a 1966 Chevelle. Going down the side of it, it does have wheel lip moldings. It has a set of 15, I think they're 15-inch rally wheels, which would have been a correct style wheel for this car. Let me see. Yep, 15-inch rallies. Firestone Firehawks obviously on it. The paint, the fit. And again, take a look at the fitment of this thing. Everything spot on, just the way it should be. Correct wiper arms and blades. The dash has no warps or deviations in it, no cracks. Where the dashboard, the metal part transitions to the base of the windshield, just as clean and nice as you'd ever hope to find one. Tinted glass in the front with the sunshade fade, tinted glass on the sides. It has a mirror on this side. I don't think it has one on the other side. We might have to get one for there. Most everyone wants two mirrors on these cars. Wipes, whiskers, just as fresh and nice as you'd hope to ever see. Drip rail the same way. This is usually deteriorated through years, the chrome. This one has absolutely no deterioration whatsoever. Again, look at the gap on this door, front and back, and fitment. Spot on. And there is the interior of this guy. The correct style for 1966 steering wheel. And it still has the rabbit ear shifter in it, clock on the center console. It does have an auxiliary set of gauges and a tack in there. Devin will show you some high resolution pictures of that. Appears to be an original equipment style AM radio in it. Correct style interior for this car. The correct style seats, front and back. Headliner nice and fresh, doesn't show any sagging or deterioration. Carpeting the same way, just as fresh as you'd hope to find. And again, you'll see Devin's going to show you some pictures, high resolution of the interior. You can see how clean everything is in the door jambs, the doors themselves, the side panels, original equipment style molded armrests on it. Just a great looking car. Looks like it still has the original door sills on it. They don't need replaced. They're still in excellent condition. Look at the window fitment too. Look at that. Don't have to worry about that guy leaking when you wash it. Trim around the front window is spot on and the same as it is on the back here. The hatch shelf, no deterioration, nice and black and nice fitment just the way it was when it was new. Again, rally wheels in the rear. The rocker panel moldings, there's no heel marks or dents or anything from somebody whacking it with the heel of their shoe through the years, which that molding runs the whole length of this car in 1966. Super Sport designation on the back. You can see the deck lid the same way, same fitment as the hood had. Look at this. Perfect gap the whole way around. It cannot get any better fitment-wise than that, guys. It doesn't. Black inset with the SS 396 designation, Chevelle on the back. You can see all this trim, all this anodized trim is just as fresh and clean as it was when it was new. Bumper on the back, the same as it was on the front. Wait a minute, Jeff has to clean that off. I don't know what that is, but it's coming off of my fingernail. But there's no marks or anything on the chrome of this car on the back bumper, just as it was on the front. There's no dents or deviations. The fitment, as you can see, is just spot on. Can't get any better than that. Let me see if I can open this trunk here. See, everything's well detailed out in the trunk area. It has a mat in it, but no spare tire. That's just the way we got it. Everything is splatter painted the way it was from the factory from General Motors in 1966. Floor pans appear to be original, and so do the quarters just looking at them from here, but we'll have a better indication once we get underneath it. Again, all new rubbers on these vehicles. When people restore them, they generally put all new rubbers on them, and that's what's been associated with this car. Passenger side, our last side, same thing, SS designation on the back, Super Sport. There's no dents or marks or anything. We haven't come across a stone chip on this vehicle yet. Simply not a mark anywhere so far, but we're still hunting. Again, this window trim, this is usually a very difficult section of trim to fit on these cars, and this is put on as spot on as you could ever hope to find one. Really great condition for that. Again, you can see no marks on the drip rail. The fuzzies, wipes, whiskers, door gap. Look at this door gap, same as the other one. Look at this. Totally amazing. Yep. Yours truly forgot to unlock that door. See if we can do it. How about using the right key? That always works better. And that's something else that we do. Donnie makes sure that all the keys, the doors, everything locks and works as it should when this car leaves our facility here. Again, this is the other side of the interior of the car. You can get a better shot of the console and the clock, and look how clean everything is on the dash. All the chrome, which is usually deteriorated on these cars on the dashboard, is just as it was when it was new. Very, very nice car, not an average car. And it has seat belts front, and it has also seat belts rear. How about that? Yeah, great looking car. Again, no patina. Look at this. Got to put a mirror on it for you if you want it. Again, look at the fit. Look at this. 396 designated flags on the front, because that's what this guy started life as. This is a 1966 Chevelle. 66 and 67 were two really iconic years for Chevelle. They garner a lot of attention. Guys want these cars simply because it was a 2-year only run. They really have a lot of charisma to them. They have a real special hood, different 66 and 67. But they're a little smaller than the 70 on up cars. They're a little bit lighter. Just a nice car. This particular one even has the original rabbit ear shifter in it. And it is a real 138 code car, which means that this car started life as a real Super Sport 396 in 1966. This car is available here at Hanksters, and it's a difficult car to find. You can find these all over the place that are clones that are not this condition. And this thing has a lot of originality to it. It's a great find. It's a great car for someone's collection, or to take and play with and use as an everyday car if you want. Take a look at it. Hanksters in Daytona Beach. Okay, this is the undercarriage of our blue 1966 real 138 code Chevelle SS car. So this guy did start as a big block SS car when it was originated in 1966, and it's still that way today. Heavy duty sway bar in the front. You can see someone's put a new high resolution steering box on it, new pitman arm, new idler arm, new tie rod ends, both sides. Springs appear to be new. The shocks are new replacements in the front. There's no leaks on the engine whatsoever, evident at this point. New starter, still has a new solenoid on it. There's no dents in the pan, not prevalent anyway. No leaks is the biggie. No leaks on the engine, the bell housing area, or the transmission. Muncie 4-speed in this car. The frame sections, which this is an entire perimeter frame on these vehicles. They were pretty stout. These got hit by a leaf. Original brake lines, original fuel line. This car has a lot of originality to it. Cast iron exhaust manifolds on it, just the way they came from the factory. It has no leaks on the speedometer drive or the tail shaft. Everything is at this point anyway leak free. Does have a set of chambered exhausts on it. I'm going to call them 2 1/4. They're probably 2 1/2 inch going into the chambered sections that go back into the tailpipe sections, which are necked down into about, I'm going to call them 2 1/8. They may be 2 inches, but I'm going to say 2 1/8. Drive shaft appears to be relatively new. It's got a new U-joint in the back. No marks on the frame at all, absolutely none. You can see a lot of originality here, and usually you see a lot of jack marks through the years. This one has none. Parking brakes still hooked up and functional. This is a nice car. It's a really nice straight car underneath it. It has a lot of originality to it. You can see the floor pans with their structural supports underneath them are still all original. They don't appear to have ever been replaced. They still have a lot of the original GM splatter sound deadeners still intact on them. Has a aftermarket set of traction bars here on the swing arms. It does have a provision to load and preload the angularity of the rear end in it, which happens to be a 12-bolt Chevy, just the way this guy would have come from the factory. Drum brakes in the front, drum brakes in the rear, the way they came in '66. New shocks in the rear to complement the ones in the front. Drop downs in the quarter panels are really nice on both sides. They don't show to have ever been replaced. Gas tank appears to also be original. There's no evident marks whatsoever in it. No dents, no dingies at all on it. This car has a lot of originality underneath it. It's just a very nicely well-kept, well-preserved 1966 Chevelle 138 code 396 Super Sport car. New round of rubber front and back on the original style rally wheels that came with this guy, and you got yourself a really nice 138 code Super Sport Chevelle. Okay, we're in our 138 code 66 Chevelle. The horn works just like it should. Left turn signal functioning as it should. Right turn signal functioning as it should. Wipers, let's try wipers. Wipers just working away just like they should. Radio, there's not a chance. That radio's not working, but it is the original AM Chevrolet radio that came with it. Oil pressure gauge and water temperature. Water temperature is just going to be rising. We just fired this up. The clock is not working, and we don't care. The tachometer, new knocker tach, and it is functioning just as it should. Everything in this car looks great. I mean, the dashboard itself, the trim on the dash, the shifter, original rabbit ear shifter. The steering wheel has no cracks or issues with itself. Gas gauge is functioning as it should, and hopefully the speedometer is going to work, so we're going to find out shortly here. Okay, we're going down the road straight as an arrow, no hands on the wheel, and just going straight as could possibly be. No shakes, shimmies, rattles, squeaks, absolutely nothing. But I can't, there's a guy behind me, otherwise I'd try to do the brakes with no hands, but we'll wait till we have to turn into the bank, and then I'll let go and show you that it's going straight then. Tranny is nice and smooth shifting. The car, again, has a nice ride quality to it. There's no vibrations or shakes or shimmies or anything. Steering box is very, very high resolution. You can see that, and it is a new high resolution box in it. If you turn the wheel an inch, the car goes that direction. Not like the original steering box that came in this. Very, very nice, tight car. Try no hands on the wheel, putting the brakes on here. That guy's going to get upset with me, but he'll live through it. Okay, there it is. No hands on the wheel. He's definitely upset with me. But you can see that there's absolutely no pull left or right with the braking system in the car. Okay, we'll give this guy a little bit of a shot here. Up to about 75 miles an hour, just as nice as can be. You can see that the speedometer is working as it should. It's not jumpiness, or there's nothing involved with the function of the speedometer. This is a nice running car. This thing really pulls very well. It's just a nice, tight car to drive. You aim it down the road, and it just goes right where you aim it. It's a nice, straight car. Brakes work well in it. There's not a single squeak or rattle or shake in this vehicle anywhere, absolutely nowhere. It's a nice car for you to take a look at. Devin's going to have about 100 photos of this car, all high resolution, so that you can go over absolutely everything that we just went over on our video. You're going to see it in high resolution videos, or still pictures that you can go over and blow up and take a look at. If there's fly dirt on it, you'll be able to find it. It's a nice car. Hangsters at Daytona Beach. Take a look at it.